1:04. Good afternoon. It's game day. Oilers, Predators. TST afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and like always, our lovely producer, Zachticum, joining you here today. Fun show coming up. We're going to talk a lot of Oilers, of course, as they hit the road for the first time this season. 2-game trip. Nashville tonight and Saturday, Dallas in the afternoon. So keep it locked on EST. We'll have full coverage today, tomorrow, Saturday, and then return on Monday. Today on the show, 1:20, Alex Daugherty, Preds beat reporter for the Tennessean, will give us some insight into the struggling Preds who are 0-3. At 1:40, it's the Red Light District with Joaquin Gage. And at 2:20, back by popular demand, YouTube Trev making another appearance here. He was really nervous. It took him about 20 minutes to say yes, but he will be joining us via video, so stay tuned for that. He's going to bring the heat, he promised. Like always, hit us up on the Nats chat on YouTube or text us at 780-218-9999 if you want to listen to us. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Joaquin, how was Two Guys, man?
It was good. It was really good there. Good discussions. A little bit, I think, more mild with the Edmonton Oilers with the recent success, I guess.
Okay.
Well, it was. A lot went on in that game. There was a lot you could dissect a lot. So the Oilers are plentiful. Actually, even I guess maybe it was Thanksgiving weekend and they were just an abundance of content. But looking forward to this. Looking forward to a good weekend of sports, right? And
it's gonna be fun.
We got F1 in Texas, which will be great. Saw Lewis Hamilton sporting the Canadian tuxedo through the paddock today. So
Texas.
That was that'll be a lot of fun to watch. And of course, these are, as I said this on Two Guys, looking at the schedule to start the year. When you look at who the Oilers are playing, these are the two games that I kind of circled in the back of my mind that I had the most interest of. Obviously, you have one team that's off to a rough start, not unlike the Oilers. And then you have another team that seems to be firing on all cylinders. So interesting to see how Nabla has chosen his goalies going into this 2-game trip. But I'm looking forward. We're hours away from game time here.
Yeah, T. Wilson changing 8. Let's get those thumbs up. And Jen says, like the hood, Hernan. Thank you. Yeah, it's really nice. It's the vintage. Edmonton Elks, so I'm all green and gold today, representing the boys, of course. I'm going to take some heat right now.
Oh, sweet.
I don't like Calvin Pickers getting the start tonight. I think this is a big game. I think, I know you won on Tuesday, but you need this game, Gager, because I don't think they're going to have success on Saturday. And I'm going to say it right now. I think the Oilers are going to get crushed tonight. Not because of Calvin Pickard. I think he's a part of it. I'm not happy that he's getting the start. Nothing against him, but this should be Stewie Skinsnet. There's no back-to-backs. He should be playing. It's early on the season. No excuses. I just think Nashville, 0-3, back at home, they're due, and I think tonight's the night. And I still would have picked Nashville if Skinner was playing, but I would have picked because I'm going to give you a score. I think it'd be a lot closer than it's going to be with Pickard in there today. Is that fair?
Against who?
Nashville.
You think it would be a lot closer with Pickard in net?
No, with Skinner.
With Skinner in net.
Yeah. Are you surprised Pickard's starting?
Yeah, but I don't. I'm not as upset about it as you are. Look, you look at the team's record. You see the transactions. Yes, it seems like the Nashville Predators are due. But saying that, I think you have a motivated Pickard after the last start he got to be successful, and you have two guys that historically have feasted on the Predators, right? So they've always played well there. I think this is a good opportunity because then if you look at the Dallas game, which is a little bit surprising too because Pickard did play against Dallas in Dallas and had a lot of success last year. But as of right now, who would you think that you would be facing in the Western Conference Final if you were the Oilers and got back to that point? You'd probably have the Dallas Stars as the top team that you would probably face in that situation. So bringing in your number one lineup as Saturday afternoon, I think
want to fall to 1-4, and you make good points. McDavid and Draisaitl have feasted on this team, but I think Nashville, obviously, and I think everybody would agree, is way better than their 0-3 start. Stamkos needs to get going, and I saw some lines from practice today from Alex Daugherty, and Marchessault's on the third. So they're kind of doing some line juggling. We'll get some more.
Same as here.
Yeah.
You know?
So they're trying to find their groove too, but if you're going Juicy Saros, Calvin Pickard at home, 0-3 start, I got to go Nashville. I'll give my score prediction later.
I already gave mine, sorry.
What'd you give?
4-2 Preds.
Okay. I'm just going to say it then. 6-1 Preds.
Jesus.
Yeah. Are you okay with the same line? Because the first period was terrible last game. Third period, a lot better. There's a good chunk of that second period too as well, Gager. But the lines did change a bit, but he's rolling out the same lines that started last game. And, of course, you weren't going to switch up to pairings. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's fine. I think you should start this game the way the last game ended.
Okay.
I'm
So then you would switch it because the last game, Podkolzin rolled the pine, fourth line didn't play. There was Connor Brown was getting some double shifts.
Yeah. I just go with the same lineup, whatever that is. Like, even if you're substituting some guys in or out, that's fine. But no, I don't. I just think the way the game ended, the way that the team won, and I said that before yesterday, like that dressing room would have been a very enjoyable place to be in after that game. I mean, after Leon's post-game interviews, you probably couldn't tell, but I'm sure there were some happy guys in there.
Yeah, Megs Zuzu. 6-1 Preds. 3 get called back for the Oilers. That's a good one because will we have a video review tonight, Gager?
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. Of course we will. And you know what? Because you look at the two players that have had goals called back, like that Hyman and Perry. That's their office, right? You don't want them to start taking away from the way that's made them successful over the course of their career, right? You don't want them thinking, "Oh, I can't do this." Like, keep doing it. They have to fix this in some sort. Dusty and Cass and I really think the whole video replay needs to be reviewed by the league on how they do this, how the refs view it. I think it was Connor McDavid last year because there was an offside.
Yeah,
he was complaining that there should
if you have to zoom in.
If you have to zoom in frame by frame and look at it for 5 minutes, I mean, come on, what are we doing here, right? For Cass mentioned on goals for sure, frame by frame to see if the puck crossed the line, fine. But when you're like slowing down, if a guy came by and the wind brushed across a goalie's mask and it bugged him or he blew. It's getting ridiculous, Hernan. Like because when you watch both plays at full speed, you can't tell any goaltender. You're like, where is that? Yeah, you slow it down. Oh, he touched him there. Yeah, that could have. It's not realistic enough when you're just frame by frame. If you run into the guy and push him out, yeah, for sure. But you would be able to call that in real time.
I would, we're both old enough where we grew up watching sports where there's no replay. There's no challenges. I'd go back to that. I swear to God. In every sport.
Only goals.
Only goals, yes.
Goals I would look at, right? Because, replay's gotten even like you watch football and it's just like, did it touch the ground just that little bit? Because the ball was like, did he have control?
Yeah.
Come on.
And that's what I don't like about the CFL is you can challenge PI. So now coaches are late in the game. They'll throw the flag no matter what, just in case, because you never know what the hell they're going to call, right? Yeah. So that's what I don't like. I'd get away with it. I know for the soccer fans, VAR has been terrible.
Do look at it. You shouldn't be able to slow it down. Maybe at a certain point. Like, you can slow it down a little bit, but you have to, and there's only a certain amount of times, and there's a certain time limit of how long you can look at a thing. And if you can't make a decision, then the call on the ice stands.
Yeah, no, I agree. Last game, I said sprinkle a little bit on Michkov getting his first career goal. He got 2.
Yeah.
I have another sprinkle for everybody that's listening right now.
Oh,
and listen to me. I want to hear a funny story. You know who picked up Bub's means? Dusty.
Did he?
Because I was like, man, that Andy guy brought the heat. He goes, yeah. He goes, you know what's funny? I picked up Bub me.
That's great. That's great. Stay cool. Bet responsibly.
So we're having some issues on the audio stream. It says, Will and the Wolf cut in like 4 times so far in the first 15 minutes. That comes in from Dudley. 3 times in 5 minutes from Bronx, the Boilermaker. So we're working on this, guys and gals. We'll do our best to make sure it's running smoothly here. But yeah,
we believe it's an area issue with the provider, that the internet is a little bit intermittent at the moment. From what I understand, they're working on it.
Yeah, and this has been going on since the morning show,
Yeah.
so it's obviously
It's in this area, I believe. So
yeah. All right, so we'll continue to work on that. Keep letting us know what you're hearing, because obviously we want you to hear the show. Oh, I was going to talk about putting all my money.
The Greek
Freak?
Freak?
It's not a lot. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Stamkos gets a goal tonight.
I think
Follow me.
No, I don't think so. Man.
Listen, I gave my prediction, and I'm not saying I want that to happen. That's just what I think. Of course, I want the Oilers to win.
I mean, could all 3 of the goalies that have signed, Allmark, Swayman, and Ottinger, I think Ottinger makes the most sense. I mean, Allmark's not the 8 years, though, right? I think it's 4.
Yeah.
I think so. But proven goaltenders, I think that Ottinger more so, just because he's kind of out of both the other 2, he's played the most, or he's not in that platoon-like system. These guys are going to be counted on a lot more throughout the season. But just looking at the age and what Ottinger's been able to do, I can't wait to see that Skinner-Ottinger matchup again from last year, because I do think that Stuart Skinner outplayed him last year in the playoffs.
I do want to, we got to get to Alex Daugherty here, but in a when we get him in, I'm going to ask you, Greg has an excuse to get back in the office.
Yeah, he basically just unplugs a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we need him.
Yeah.
So, and then he comes in.
And then he makes you feel real
Yeah, he
dumb.
rides in on his white horse and fixes everything and wants everyone to praise him. Matty, hail to the mat.
Hail to the mat. All right, guys, coming up next, we're going to preview the Nashville Predators, the Oilers' opponent tonight. They sit at 0-3, and we'll be joined by Alex Daugherty, Preds beat reporter for the Tennessean. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Of course, we have the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780 coming up. Rocking right now. We're only at 19, so a little bit of a slow start, but let's get those close to 50 before the end of the hour. Up next, Alex Daugherty to preview the Preds here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, but up next, here is Zachticum with a...
Kelvin Pickard gets a start for the Oilers when they face the 0-3 Nashville Predators. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5 o'clock with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live from Hudson's, Canada's Pub on Wide Ave. We got 10 other games on tap, including the Devils taking on the Senators, the Rangers visiting the Red Wings, and the Kings meeting the Canadiens. Jake Ottinger has signed an 8-year, $66 million extension with the Dallas Stars, carrying an average salary of $8.25 million. And in the NBA, it's LA Clippers star Kawhi Leonard being sidelined indefinitely to begin the NBA season as he rehabilitates from and to play the Saints. And Lieutenant Eric is down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that one. Kickoff just after 6. It's Game 4 of Mets-Dodgers in the NLCS, with the Dodgers leading 2-1 in that series before the Guardians look to find their first win, their series against the Yankees. Right after the break, Alex Daugherty from the Tennessean joins Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for two, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
It's 1:23 Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Keep the messages coming on the Nasty Chat. A reminder, text us at 780-218-9999. Coming up in hour two, YouTube Trev at 2:20, and also another chance to qualify for the EST Flyaway to LA, which is proudly presented by the 780. As we're going to head to Nashville, and this gentleman, we were supposed to on last week, but we had some technical issues, but happy to be able to bring him on today as the Oilers host. The Oilers are on the road, to take on the Nashville Predators. Alex Daugherty, Preds beat reporter from the Tennessean, joining us here on EST Afternoons. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing excellent. Let's get right to it. Here in Edmonton, the team picked up their first win, but it's been a slow start for the Edmonton Oilers. What's going on in Nashville there with an 0-3 start? So probably something they didn't expect this early on in the season.
Yeah, slow start as well. So 3 games, 3 losses, kind of all different ways, really. So game 1, we find out UC Saros has a slight injury, so Scott Wedgwood's in the net, and he really just can't get it done in the second period against Dallas. And then in the road game in Detroit, they just couldn't score on Cam Talbot for some reason. 42 shots on him, and couldn't get anything by a 37-year-old journeyman goaltender. And then Tuesday, they looked awful defensively. So you could say they've had goaltending issues, they've had offensive issues, and they've had defensive issues all in the first 3 games, which, yeah, is not something that you would expect. I think they are still trying to figure out exactly how to work Steven Stamkos into the lineup, Marchessault. I think their issues are more than just – I think defensively is maybe the more concern. I think we feel like the offense will probably come, but how are they going to do that? Tonight, it looks like Steven Stamkos is going to have yet another new line. He's been with several different players in the first few games. He's going to be with Tommy Novak and Luke Evangelista tonight, which is why I got the London Knights hat on. London Knights, Luke Evangelista. I think most people, when they saw that the game on Tuesday, the Seattle Kraken loss, were like, well, now they have to go beat the Edmonton Oilers, who just went to the Stanley Cup final, to try to get their first win of the season.
You mentioned Steven Stamkos. I mean, the additions of him and Jonathan Marchessault, looking at the off season, it seemed like the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators were really, it was almost an arms race to see how many superstars or pieces to the puzzle to get to a Stanley Cup final. It's not always easy for players to come in, and it's usually not kind of that plug and play. Stamkos obviously not scoring yet. What have you seen from him, and has there been any signs of him finally getting that comfortability with the team, with the city of Nashville, and starting to get back to form that you saw in Tampa?
Yeah, there's been signs. I in the first game actually, he hit the post with about 12 seconds to go that would have tied the game. And when I say he hit the post, he dented the post. It would have brought the house down, obviously, because it would have tied the game. So there was that. So I think he's hit the post twice now. And there, on the power play, he's in his normal spot, but the guy has spent the better part of a decade with Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Victor Hedman on the same power play unit, right? And now he's got some good players, Philip Forsberg, Roman Josi, Ryan O'Reilly, but it's just not the same. People move differently. They time their passes differently. They see things differently. They've tried to get him some cross ice kind of through the middle of the ice passes, and he's maybe not had the trigger ready, or there have been passes that have been not exactly where he wanted, so he's just passing it back to the point. A couple times he's actually gotten shots off. They've not been on frame. And so it's just little things here and there. I think it's just a comfort thing. The guy has had the most change in his career over the last 3 months, the most he's ever, moved cities, moved his family, new line mates, new teammates, new coach for the first time in his career in 16 years. So it's like you're going to have a little bit of that. But to answer your question, I do see the same Stamkos that we've seen over the years, the same laser shot. He's there at practice. He's working hard. I think it's going to come. It's going to take a little bit of time. And I told people this for a while. It's they might play 500 hockey for the first couple months of the season before they really get rolling.
Alex, looking at the lines you tweeted out today, and you said Stamkos again playing with two new line mates. Has this, like, for the first 3 games heading into their fourth, has this been kind of like a putting out the blender here with these forward lines? Has anything stuck yet?
Even in games, it's changed. Last game he played with Marchessault. He's played with Marchessault the whole time. This is the first time that they've not played.
Okay.
Tonight will be the first time they've not played, but it's different wingers. He moved to center on Tuesday. He has been a winger for the last couple of years in the NHL. There's been a little bit of that, and I think that there's some concern about that. I will say this, though, that in games, usually what happens is Brunette will throw Stamkos out with someone like Philip Forsberg, who is also this is obviously the Oilers do this too, right? With McDavid and Draisaitl. Yeah. It's like you try to put those guys out there together when you have the right moment, the right matchup. So I've seen that a couple times. I wouldn't be surprised to see that again too. And then of course there's the power play, but yeah, line wise, it's been kind of a different matchup or a different line every day, and sometimes even in every period.
There was a big trade between Nashville and Edmonton a few years ago, with obviously the addition of Mattias Ekholm. Here is no stranger to Nashville fans, that basically turned the season around for the Edmonton Oilers too. But going back was Reed Schaefer, obviously not with the Preds now. I'm just curious, how was his camp, and is he kind of on the cusp of breaking in at some point, or is there still some more of a maturation process in the minor league levels before he gets to the NHL?
That's a great question. I actually watched Reed Schaefer a lot over the summer. He was at rookie camp. I saw him in development camp, and then I saw him play for Milwaukee last year in the American League. I think he's kind of, I don't think it's any more development with him. I think it's more of if they need a guy like him. I mean, Reed Schaefer, he's a big guy. He's a little worried, like, is he really going to be anything in the NHL that they need right now? But in a couple years, when he's 26, 27, I think he'll probably be up in Nashville for a little bit. I think that the other part of that, though, sending Ekholm, I was just thinking about this earlier. in the trade to send Ekholm to Edmonton, I think if there's one trade that David Poyle / Barry Trotz would ever want back, it's that one. Because I mean, and you guys know now, like, he's such a stabilizing force on the back end. He's such a perfect defenseman in a lot of different ways. I mean, he's not Cale Makar, he's not Quinn Hughes, he's not quick like that, but I don't know that anyone wouldn't want Mattias Ekholm on their team. I mean, he's such a good player. He's, like I said, when you're in a bad position, when you're in a losing streak, or when you need, someone to get the team back on track, he's the guy that does it. And there for a number of years, Ekholm was on the trade block, or his name would come up, and it was always I just remember it was always two teams that came up. It was Edmonton and it was Toronto, and I'm glad it was Edmonton that he went to, by the way. I'm glad.
Yes, you just made a lot of fans here in Edmonton, Alex.
I think it was always, well, mostly because I figured that if he went to Toronto, he probably would start playing bad, and then his career would be tarnished by being a Maple Leaf. But no, obviously he's great, and you guys saw that last year, and I think that's such a perfect trade for Edmonton, and really not a great one for Nashville, even though the pick that they used to get Tanner Mollendijk is going to be a really good player. And then Reed Schaefer, as we talked about. So, I mean, in the end, it might work out, but right now, Mattias Ekholm is someone that they desperately need back.
Hey, Alex, I was just looking at special teams. I mean, the Oilers are struggling mightily on the power play and on the PK. I think they're dead last on the PK. They're giving up a ton of goals. But I was looking at Nashville, too. They're 1 for 11 to start the season. It's at about 9%. What's going wrong there? And, I mean, I just talked about Edmonton's PK. This might be the right team to meet tonight. But how are the special teams looking for Nashville early on this season?
Yeah, it's been a struggle. The power play for Nashville has been the same issues it always has been. Their zone entries are rough. Their top unit is just, it just doesn't, it's not clicking right. I will say it's looked okay when they're in the zone, but it's just like they're not getting shots to fall. And as far as their penalty kill's been okay. They don't have a really strong identity on the penalty kill yet. I think that they're kind of caught between being a really aggressive unit and a passive one. I can't recall how many chances they've had on the penalty kill. It's been a handful, but that unit I think is still a work in progress. And the power play they just need some shots to fall. I mean, they've generated some good stuff, and with Yossi and Forsberg and O'Reilly and Stamkos, and then I'm blanking on the other person that's usually there. But it's a good unit, and Marchessault, of course. It's a really good unit that has a ton of skill and a lot of career ability on the power play, but it's not happening yet. I guess you're saying that the penalty kill for the Edmonton Oilers is not great, so maybe they'll get on the board.
No, it had a little porous, but Alex, the play of UC Saros, like, he is considered, I would say, one of the top 5 goaltenders in the league. Off to kind of a slow start this year. How long does it take him to get up to speed? Is he usually a quick starter or slow, or is this just more of just the team as a whole really not playing well or up to their potential?
He's a very slow starter, and He has always been. I'm not sure why. I think early on, when Pekka Rinne was still here, he wasn't getting a lot of starts early in the season, so maybe just not used to it. But yeah, he's been a slow starter for a while. He also had the slight injury, so he got injured in the final preseason game against Carolina. It wasn't anything major, but I think that even hurt him more. The goaltending situation for Nashville is so strange. It's taken a lot of turns over the last several months, because they had the top goaltender Yaroslav Askarov, who they were considering keeping around and wanted to keep around, but he didn't want to stick around. So they traded him to San Jose. Now they have Scott Wedgwood as a backup, who hasn't looked totally strong as a backup yet. So they're going to have to, UC Saros might start 70 games this year. I mean, he's going to start a lot of games. Wow. And I don't think 70. I'm exaggerating. Probably 60. 60, 62, somewhere in there. I mean, I think Scott Widgewood will get like 20 games. But, I mean, they need Saros, who's about to turn 30, to be a Vezina caliber goalie if they're going to do well. Now, he finished 5th in voting last year. He was a finalist the year before. He can do that. It's just, for some reason, it takes him around 10 to 15 games before he really gets it going. And it's just one of those things. Good goaltenders are bizarre, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Alex, great stuff. Thank you for joining us. I know last week we had some technical issues. I appreciate you jumping on game day. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll chat soon.
Definitely, yeah, of course. I wanted to give a shout out to in the playoffs last year. I was in Vancouver. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Oilers themed bar that's in Vancouver, the Black Frog. Are you familiar with this?
No.
I should be.
I'm intrigued.
Highly recommend. The people at the Black Frog. It's called the Black Frog Oilers themed bar. We watched them play the Kings in the first round last year. Tons of Oilers fans there. It was a blast. Love that place.
Alex Daugherty, Preds beat reporter for the Tennessean, joining us. Great stuff there. We had to get to break, but I should have asked him. I was like, what happened with Askarov? Because he was the future. But, I mean, you have Juicy Sorrow, so I get it. But that guy they were so high on him.
Yeah. I understand it. And looking at the landscape, UC Saros does play it like you heard him. He says he plays. Probably going to play 70 games. As a young guy, you want to get your reps. You want to, and look, careful what you wish for, because you might get it. And he's in San Jose where they are going to struggle. You just worry about a young goalie feeling good about it and losing his confidence a little bit, right? Because there are going to be nights when he's going to get eaten alive. You know?
And a quick update on Reed Schaefer, too. I'm sure Oiler fans didn't like hearing that, but the kid might be something, right? But you gave him up for Ekholm, who's been a integral, enormous part of this team.
Well, I'm putting words in his mouth, but it seems like if they were to ask for him back and get the same, they would do it in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
That trade, that's one of those trades where you think, oh my gosh, did the Oilers ever capitalize on this? But a few years down the road, you might see old Ginger Beef looking like maybe like Tippett from Philadelphia, right? Where he's just a bull horse player.
If the Oilers win a cup with Ekholm, I think Oiler fans are going to be okay with that. Down the road. Yeah. If they don't, they're going to be like...
If they don't, Reed Schaefer comes in and becomes a perennial 50-goal scorer, and maybe not.
Adam Zeal says, it's a full-on Edmonton bar in Vancouver. Had many FC Edmonton supporters go there for the Voyager Cup match. It's cool. I didn't know that, Gager.
I'm just looking to see where it is. It's just... It wasn't in my hardcore neck of the woods, but it's down by the waterfront.
Oh, interesting.
And just kind of, downtown. Cool. Just downtown. So
good stuff. Alex Daugherty from the Tennessean joining us here. Coming up next, everybody's favorite. It's time for the Red Light District with Joaquin Gage. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons. But first up, here's a sports update with Zachticum.
The Oilers are in action, taking on the Predators with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5 o'clock on location at the Hudson's Canada's Pub down on White Ave. Elsewhere, the Canucks play the Panthers, the Golden Knights against the Lightning, and the Capitals host the Stars. Speaking of the Stars, Jake Ottinger has signed an 8-year, $66 million extension after starting the season 3-0 with a .948 save percentage and a 1.63 goals against average. Thursday Night Football sees the Saints meeting the Broncos, where you can join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for 6:15 kickoff. And Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers is out to start the NBA season. The 33-year-old was not a part of any preseason games and will be sidelined indefinitely with knee inflammation. It's Game 4 of Mets-Dodgers in the NLCS, with the Dodgers leading 2-1 in that series before the Guardians look for their first win in their set against the Yankees in Game 3 of the ALCS. Right after the break, It's Red Light District with Joaquin Gage here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Wake up with the Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
1:43. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. We just previewed the struggling Nashville Predators. Yeah, their power play 1 for 11, Gager. So it's going to be a good matchup.
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Steven Stamkos was 0 points so far, and juggling of the lines. It's going to be an interesting game because it was funny when he was breaking it down, Gager. Like what's kind of hampering them. It sounded just like the Oilers.
Yeah, I mean. Not that, well, Connor and Leon obviously been here before, but there's been a lot of changes, you know, to the lineup. And to that point, I think when you're young, you know, a lot of single guys moving, it's not a big deal. You know, they just move to the new place, get a play, you know, they're going to the rink, eating at Joey's, and call it a day, right? But when you're a little bit older, like Stamkos, like a Marchessault, having a family, you know, Marchessault, I heard him speaking about how he loved Vegas, you know, and his family and schools. So you get there early, you try to find the schools, new friends, all that transitional stuff, your family. It's not just the on-ice stuff you're getting used to. Your whole world's turned upside down. So to finally start, if anyone's ever moved, like even within the city to a new house, how long until you start feeling comfortable in the new home? Like and getting around? It's like 6 months, right? Yeah. So
I'll say this. I don't feel too bad for Marchessault. Go from Vegas to Nashville.
He's hit it out of the park here a couple times. Well, wasn't it Tampa before?
Yeah.
Like Tampa.
No, Florida.
Oh, Florida. Yeah, Florida, Vegas, Nashville.
The trifecta of hot spots in the U.S.
Well done.
I like this one for Martin. Starting 70 games, it will be Juicy Soros.
Hey-oh.
All right, let's get to the Red Light District with Joaquin Gage. Joaquin.
You don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night.
Joaquin.
You don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right.
Joaquin.
You don't have to put on the red light.
Joaquin.
You don't have to put on the red light.
Joaquin. Joaquin.
All right. So I thought we were going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be a two-parter here, Hernan. And it's because of what happened to me the other night. So we'll go with phase one here. So on a previous red light district, I was talking about going out with my daughter and feeling uncomfortable. Okay?
Yeah.
So as you know, I was at the game, the last game, and as I'm walking out with my daughter Liliana and her friend Lydia. They both have their Oilers jerseys on. My daughter has my old jersey on. Okay.
Solid.
So we're walking out with a sea of people. There's this woman behind me. And she looks and she goes, "Is that your wife?" And this is exactly what I was worried about. Like, right away, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a creepy old dude. And I'm like, no, that's my daughter. And then she goes, oh, well, I mean, she's wearing your jersey. I mean, who would do that? Like, I assumed it was your wife. And I'm like, well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, she apologized. So sorry. And then, so I'm like, gee, I knew this would happen. My daughter's obviously laughing. And I think there was some hockey boys at the game too.
Oh, no.
There was some discussions as well during the game. And as I was driving out, the young men were there, and one of them came over to the car. I think someone waved someone over, probably my daughter, and exchanged snaps. I guess that's what the kids do these days. And as this little punk gets to the car, he looks at me and he looks back at my daughter and says, "Oh, is that your personal driver?" Because I'm in the suit and stuff from on the panel. I'm looking at this punk, and then my daughter goes, "Yes, it is." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" So, yeah, it's I guess it's full on with my teenage 15-year-old daughter. So I just had to give you a glimpse behind the curtain there of what's happened. So it's true. What I was most worried about actually happened. So, but anyways.
I like how it's not even like, oh, that's my dad, but yes, that's my chauffeur.
No, that's my chauffeur. That's my personal driver.
My personal driver.
Because both the girls were in the back seat,
yeah,
right? And so I was in the front, obviously driving. So kind of embarrassing, but kind of funny.
Gage, you got to get scarier here.
Well, I was about to get out and say, "Hey, you ever see the transporter? Back up." No, but it was quite funny, and the girls were laughing. But I wanted the second part of Red Light. I wanted to give people a little glimpse behind the curtain because we've been talking about big, like, kind of turning points and those little moments throughout the season of what happens. And what we saw last game was the first time that we've seen a coach have accountability for a player.
Yes.
And so for people that have maybe not played hockey at a high level. What happens during the game is if you would have Nobla mic'd up, he would say, like, okay, whoever's on the ice. So then he would go, okay, Nuge, Connor, and Hyman, right? So, and then Hyman would say, I've got Brown.
Yeah.
Then Nuge would say, I've got so-and-so, and Connor would say, I got Leon, right? So they would actually say who they got so they know who's changing when they come off the bench, right? So the coach is saying these three names, and then sometimes when the lines are kind of set, he'll just say, Connor, you're up. And the two guys that were with him before just automatically assume and rinse and repeat the same process. So when you hear Nobla kind of say, okay, whoever's out there, and then the next time he goes, and you're thinking you're going to hear Leon, and all of a sudden you hear Henrique, Brown, and whoever, like everyone's like, wait a second, I didn't hear Leon's name. And that just reverberates throughout the whole lineup. Even the D that are kind of, it's like Club Med down there. Yeah. So right away, that just changes the whole way the game is viewed. Everyone, you're so heightened and alert anyways playing at that level and that jacked. Once you hear that Leon's not he's not going out, that just shows everyone, you know what, I got to pick up my game. Not only to Leon, right? That's not just a shot across the bow to, hey, probably bad penalty. We need you to pick your game up. That, when you do it to a player of his stature, it goes through everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. So masterful job from Coach Cade doing that because, well, we saw the effect it had. And not only to Leon, but I think throughout the whole lineup.
Great point. He made the decision. Why are you guys asking me? Like, what am I supposed to say? He's not going to throw his coach under the bus. But I love that it took probably the most calm, the most, like, you know, like he's so chill.
Yeah.
Coach to finally say, okay, you're going to miss, because we say bench, but he missed 2 shifts, guys. Like, it might have been more, but they got a power play. So he's like, okay, go ahead. Because I think last year he tried or attempted to do it with Draisaitl, but they got a power play and they were down, so they threw him right back out there. So I agree with you. I think it's important that a coach does this with a team that's contending for a Stanley Cup and has started off slow, because now not only because Connor McDavid and Leon are on a different level.
Yeah.
It's rare that those guys will ever ride the pine, right? Like it's...
Yeah, well, it was.
Until now.
Yeah. So... I mean, that's the biggest. Yeah.
But that's where I am, Gager, because even the guys below that. So I'll go Nuge, Hyman. Let's throw Arvidsson, Skinner, Nurse, Bouchard, Ekholm. Those guys never get benched either.
No
matter how bad they're playing, and we saw it in the playoffs with Darnell Nurse how bad he was, and they just kept. So I'm saying that when that tier of players sees Leon Draisaitl miss a couple of shifts, they're all on notice, because Nuge needs to get his head out of his you-know-what, because he's been terrible.
Yeah.
He's -4 right now. Yeah. Hyman's been MIA. Arvidsson started well. I don't mind Arvidsson. I think Skinner got the message.
Yeah, I think there's something with Skinner there. He's I think he's I just think, wow, they're doing this to our top guys. If they can do it to him, of course they can do it to me. So I got to step my game up.
And the guy we've talked about a lot early in the season, Darnell Nurse. We all want him to play well, because when he plays well, he helps his team immensely. But I think for him, seeing that is probably the biggest one, because Darnell here, for any coach that's been here during the McDavid and Draisaitl era, Darnell Nurse hasn't missed a shift ever. No. And no matter if he's playing obviously terrible, like he did in a few series in the playoffs, but for him, and I'd look at for a guy like Bouchard, they're like, oh, I better step up my game. Like Bouchard's like, I can't be so nonchalant and keep giving the puck away.
There's is it a lot? Like, yeah, but it's the way he plays too. But you know,
it is. It's like Leon almost, because Leon's never going to be like that guy that's just going like.
No, I mean, there's times when he does, though, and I think you need to do that. Right? But yeah, Bouchard needs to have a little bit more urgency with the puck at the areas on the ice where it's very dangerous, right? Last guy at the blue line, guys coming at you. You got to make a good play.
And I don't think, Gage, I think what broke Coach K was the penalty at the end of the second, which was stupid. Ugh. But up until that point, Leon wasn't playing well.
No, not at all.
So for everybody thinking that it's just the penalty, no, I think it was all things tied in, and that
this was death by 1,000 cuts. Really, there was just little bits of his game that kept adding up, and then it came to that penalty, which was completely unnecessary. And I think you could kind of get away with it, but the fact that the power play or the penalty kill has been struggling, and you know they're down in a game, like it just trying to get their first win. Poor timing, selfish penalty. That's you thinking about yourself way more than you are the team.
You're letting he let his frustration out, and it affected.
And you gotta keep that, because again, that shows when your leaders do that, and there's no repercussions. You know, sometimes it's okay to do that, like throughout the lineup, and so this just again that accountability through the 23 guys is really important.
And you don't want guys. I don't think any of the guys are scared, but you don't want guys scared to make plays out there now that they saw this, right? Like this should almost give you more confidence. Say, okay, I gotta be sharp with my passes.
Yeah.
I gotta be more aware on the ice. If you're talking about defensemen, if Bouchard's fumbling at the blue line in the offensive zone, he's gonna be like, yeah, I gotta lock down here. So I think it just brings everybody's game up a bit, because now they saw this. And Darnell Nurse might not Darnell Nurse. Sorry, Leon Draisaitl still might be pissy about it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, you want him pissy. You hope that it kind of lit the fire with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins too.
Yeah, Zulo says I'll be here defending Nurse all year. LOL. That's good. That's good. Let's see here. Yeah, we're just continuing to work through these technical difficulties. I do want to ask you a question, and we'll save it for the next segment, about Coach K and the benching of Darnell Nurse for a couple of shifts, Gager. But let's save it for the next segment.
Sure.
Keep those thumbs up. We're over 50. Let's get to 70, let's say, by 2:20. And then keep rolling and hopefully get to 100. Of course, we got YouTube Trev coming up in about 23 minutes. We also got the EST flyaway to LA, proudly presented by the 780. The quicker we get to 100 thumbs up, the quicker we give the keyword Gager. That's the way to do it.
Love it.
Hour 2 of EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas is coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they're the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
A&W has a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with a perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty topped with pickles, a slice of onion, ketchup, mustard, and teen sauce served on a toasted sesame seed bun? 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. You can enjoy 2 of these delicious, mouth-watering Mama Burgers for only $9.99 at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Devon. What a deal! And to make it even more convenient for you, most A&W drive-thrus are open 24 hours.
Kelvin Pickard gets a start for the Oilers when they face the 0-3 Preds out in Nashville. You can catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5 o'clock with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. And Tommy will be down live on location at Hudson's, Canada's Pub on White Ave. We got 10 other games on tap, including the Devils taking on the Senators, the Rangers visiting the Red Wings, as well as the Kings meeting the Canadians. Jake Ottinger has signed an 8-year, $66 million extension with the Dallas Stars. That contract holds an average salary of $8.25 million. And in Thursday Night Football, the Denver Broncos are in New Orleans to play the Saints. Lieutenant Eric will be down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that action. Kickoff just after 6. Kawhi Leonard of the LA Clippers will be out indefinitely to start the NBA season. The 33-year-old was not a part of any preseason games and is battling knee inflammation. There's 2 games in the MLB Championship Series with the Mets battling the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLCS before the Yankees take on the Guardians in Game 3 of the ALCS. EST Afternoons continues with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
It's 2:01. Welcome back to Hour 2 of EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and Zachticum. We continue to work on the some audio issues here that have been going on throughout the day here at EST. Working through it. Let us know if it continues to happen, and we're doing our best to clear all that up ahead of the Reed Wilkins show and, of course, the pregame show coming up at 5 o'clock. Tommy Gazzola will be live from Hudson's.
Nice.
And I'll be here in the studio. And Cass will be from his home studio, I think.
The satellite studio.
The satellite studios. Yes. Coming up in hour 2, of course, we'll have YouTube Trev making a return. He was pretty popular last time.
Back by popular demand.
We're back by popular demand at 2:20. And, of course, the EST Flyaway to LA, probably presented by the 780. Gage, let's continue the Oiler talk here. I wanted to ask you this about the benching of Leon Draisaitl, but Chris Knoblauch. With a team like this that's a veteran team, they're the oldest team in the league. They're 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup. How many times can you play this card before it gets old, I guess?
Well, as long as they keep putting in efforts like that and being a selfish player, as much as possible.
Okay.
Right? I think there's, just because of what you've done in the past, gives you a little bit of free rein, but if it keeps happening, a coach has to put out that fire. Like you can't keep doing the same things over and over. Like they've already asked them. Like, look at it this way. Last year, you mentioned, 1 win away from winning a Stanley Cup. Everyone's moving on from that, right? You gotta move forward. So all the things, all the accomplishments, although great for these, I'm just looking at Connor and Leon up to this point, have been quite spectacular, actually, what they've been able to do. But it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. This is stuff you when your career's done and look back and go, wow, I was able to do something like that. But right now, the singular focus of this team has to be winning hockey games and getting into a playoff spot where hopefully you have some home ice advantage throughout a certain portion of it.
Yeah.
And being the best team out there, because it goes to show you the Oilers had the 2 best players on the planet, you could say, and they still didn't win. But the best team won the Stanley Cup, and that's where they have to get to.
So you're not like worried about like if he's not going to go on a benching spree here, like let's be honest, but like if it's happening to 3-4 vets, you think the core group's going to be like, come on, man? Or do you think that's like, I guess what I'm asking is you don't want to do it too much.
No, it's an arrow in the quiver, but the quiver isn't full of those arrows, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to become the Charlie Brown teacher in that way, but I think when it's done in this fashion, like there's no yelling or screaming or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I would be. This is where the behind the scenes and filming would be great to see if there was, probably not right after the game, but maybe on the plane. Leon's asked to come up to the front to talk to. I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen with Coach K, and there was a discussion of what happened. And look, it's like getting into a fight with your buddy. You hate each other for a bit, then
it happens.
It happens, and I think it's going to happen. You're going to have arguments with your coach. Sometimes you're not going to see eye to eye, but from all accounts, what they talked about with bringing in Chris Knoblauch is the fact of he was a really good communicator, right? And so, yeah, I would put dollars to donuts that there was a talk on the flight down to Nashville yesterday.
And you've seen it because you played pro. I was with the pro team for 2.5 years, and I saw Chris Jones rip guys in games, like on the sideline, and then after the game they're hugging.
Yeah.
And because it's player and coach both saying, I was wrong on the field, I took a penalty, and coach saying, do you understand why I get frustrated? But like, you know what I mean? Like, so it happens way more often than we think.
Look, we get fired up just watching sports. Imagine doing it. You get fired up. Like, and especially, like, I'm always shocked at coaches because you don't have any real control over the game.
No.
Right? And you're just sitting there, and it's all that anxiety is building up in you. The fact that they can stay cool for that long was always miraculous to me.
Yeah, it's something that I think is more normal. It obviously it's behind closed doors. You don't get to see it as much, and I think you make a great point where Knoblauch's that kind of coach that's like, Leon, come here. Like, this is why I did this. And Leon's a big boy. He's part of the core. He's one of the best players in the world. He's probably like, I agree, coach, but I didn't like it. And he shouldn't like it. No player should be happy that they're getting benched.
No, everyone wants, like, when things are going wrong and, you want the ability to work yourself out of it. And then when someone takes away that ability, you're like, well, what do you, like, your first response is going nuts. Look, I was pulled a lot. You don't think I wanted to go yell at my coach, right? But there might have been some side-eye glances and stuff back and forth. But yeah, at the end of the day, you kind of realize it, right? And there's a lot of times I would always find the best coaches, probably not right away, but they would have a discussion, probably practice the next day, and go, "Hey, look, didn't like where you were at," or it was like, "Look, you were fine, but we needed a spark here."
Yeah,
and it's one of the tools that coaches use. You've seen it thousands of times.
And here in Edmonton, we haven't seen that with the top players. Like, you see fourth line guys get sad or a sixth defenseman, but you haven't seen it with the core guys. And I love, like, Chris Knobloch, to me, like, I always had respect for him. I think he's a hell of a coach. It even grew more, my respect for him, for what he did. Because it takes a lot to bench a superstar.
It takes a lot to bench a superstar that probably hasn't had that done to him I tried to remember another
Maybe a
time.
rookie year when he was kind of.
I think when he was, it was a little bit like when he got sent down.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Remember when if you think back, and this is a while ago, obviously, but when Leon was up and got sent to the minors, and then it wasn't too long. I want to say it was only like a week or two, but came up. He was a different player. His feet were finally moving. It's hard coming from junior where he just, if you go back and watch Leon in playing in Kelowna, he completely slowed the game to a halt. Like, he just had the puck the whole time, right? And so that transition of now having to, stuff happens at the NHL level a little bit quicker. Right?
Yeah.
And what yesterday, like, we were marveling over the Bouchard goal, right?
Oh.
So Connor gets it to Leon. Leon gets it and just knows right away where Connor's going, spins, nice little backhand touch to Connor. Connor sees Bouchard on the backside. Quick play, no dust off, boom, back of the net. Like, that's the type of play you want from Leon and Connor and Bouchard at that point, and that's why these guys are some of the best in the NHL.
How many you expecting Dry to go off tonight? How many goals or points? Let's go with points.
I don't think he's going to go off.
No.
I do think he'll finish with a point tonight. But this is going to be probably the most difficult game that the Oilers played. Not that I think last game up to this point was the most difficult. I liked that. That Philadelphia teams, there's something there. In a few years, I think they're going to rule the East. Like, they're going to be one of the top teams. They have to find a goalie though. But
they do.
You're going up against a veteran lineup that hasn't won a game. Have had a lot of success in the past. They're going to have to play 5-on-5, right? Can't take any penalties. Even though the Nashville Predators power play has been in the pooper, what a power play can do is just give you a little bit more juice, And I look back to, and I said it before, that last game. I really think one of the turning points was the Oilers, even though they didn't score, they finally got a power play that allowed those guys to start feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is the first of 3 meetings this season. Leon Draisaitl leads all active Oilers in career points against Nashville with 42, which is just unreal.
The fact that they're not in the same, like, they don't play them that much.
No, it's 3 times a year. Vlad the Inhaler says Leon shouldn't have to be told to clean his room. Glad he was told, though. And then Alvy says, nobody wants a lame duck coach, but we don't want any Mike Babcocks over here. No, that's not going to happen. Last night, Sidney Crosby, Yevgeny Malkin, legendary company, now joining Gretzky and Curry as the only duos in NHL history to score 500 goals. Sidney Crosby also becomes the 10th player in NHL history to reach 1,600 points. And the Penguins are the second team in the NHL history to have 3 500-goal scorers, of course, with Mario Lemieux. I think it's with the Montreal Canadiens. But Sid, Yevgeny, where would you put him for duos all time? There's a lot of good duos, man. Dusty put it out on Twitter yesterday, and people kept sending a bunch in, and there are some ridiculous ones that were pretty funny though, like Horkov Hemsky.
Are we just looking like hockey wise for duos?
Yes,
yes. I mean, obviously here you automatically just go to Gretzky Curry, right?
Could you do Gretzky the Moose?
I don't know. All the sound I hear in my head is Bob Cole going Gretzky
because Malkin and Crosby 5-on-5 don't play a lot together.
No.
Right?
No,
so it's kind of like Messi and Gretzky, but they all played on the power play together.
Yeah, and there were times when they weren't even together at all, right? There were injuries and stuff. But yeah, just what they were able to accomplish together, like Gino winning the Conn Smythe in 10, winning a Stanley Cup together, and then going back to back.
Yeah,
both being huge parts of cup runs. Just their playoff success alone puts them in the category of one of the best duos ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think for me duos. Yager Lemieux.
Yeah. What's another?
Datsuk Zetterberg.
I mean, yeah. Do you look at Taze and Kane?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because how many cups they win? 3?
3.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent one.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, Leon and McDavid.
Obviously, they're there, but they've got the one thing. All the guys that we've mentioned, they've done something that those two haven't yet, right? So I think if they can cross that threshold, then they start getting into that conversation. But I mean, even if I look back, the Kings, like, I wonder who that duo is. Is it Kopitar and Brown, or
it's a little lesser down the scale? Sakic Forsberg.
Oh yeah.
Because this one got tweeted at Dusty. Modano Nieuwendyk. I wouldn't say that because Nieuwendyk was on the tail end of his career there. Would it be Modano? Who was a top player with him there? Lettinen?
But they didn't play it.
No.
Modano was good. Wade and Arnott? No.
Wade and Smitty. Wade and Guerin.
Wade and Guerin were dynamite, but it was too short.
Lemieux, Francis, Yzerman, Fedorov.
I was trying to think of the Detroit. What would you do? I mean, it's almost Lidstrom, Yzerman.
Mike Bossy, Tonelli, or Trache.
Yeah.
Stamkos, Kucherov.
See, that's.
Or would it be more Kucherov Point?
Stamkos was there the longest, right? So.
Or Esposito.
I mean, it never, one of the great duos that were so dangerous. Hull and Oates were
Hull
nasty.
and Oates, St. Louis, yes.
Yeah, they were just, I know they didn't have success, but it was a joke.
I like that one.
Yeah.
There's a good one here. One that's now McKinnon, Rantanen. I think they're right up there with McDavid, Draisaitl.
Deke Sparks, of course. Korea Solane. Oh, we're missing that one.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. That was nasty.
Perry Getzlaff to a lesser extent.
Yeah, you could say that.
Ovechkin, Backstrom.
They did it together, right?
It's unfortunate he couldn't stay healthy.
I know, because Ovi needs him to get to 42 this year. Hasn't scored yet.
Duck Dad says Matthews Marner, gods, allegedly. But it's a good duo. Like that. I'd take him over a lot of duos.
I was watching a bit of that Leafs game last night. That Nylander's feeling it right now.
Oh, that goal he scored. Whew.
He's it's hard to. Matthews is dynamic, and like the goal that Matthews scored was unreal too. Like he flubbed one, and then he got it back. And
you don't even see it hit the net.
Yeah, like it was almost. He didn't mean to do that, but he had everyone on the other side of the ice because no one thought he would flub a shot, right?
I will say this: LA looks bad, Gage.
Well, it goes to show you. And we were talking about with Alex, right? With about the influence of Ekholm, And I think if you take out either Connor or Leon for 2 weeks, whatever, 3, I think the Oilers are still fine. You take out Ekholm, this is a completely different hockey team.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The Sedins.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, of course.
I have another one from Vancouver that's very underrated. Bertuzzi and Naslund.
Yeah, that was...
And they had Morrison, too. It was a good trio, but those two were magic, man.
They were. And Naslund had a nasty wrist shot.
He was so good.
So good.
And Brett B says, Gaetan Haas, Joachim Nygaard. Oh, that's a really, really good one. Yeah.
Sedins, how did I miss that? Yeah.
I mean, those guys, it was great when Vancouver had that top line of Naslund, Morrison, and Bertuzzi because their second line was the Sedins and they were young.
I know. Yeah. Well, that was when I remember back in my last season with the Oilers, the Canucks were really, they were really good. And Sedins would come in and it was just like, God, they have the puck for like 6 minutes just cycling in the corner, just making everyone dizzy.
Yeah.
And then they just find each other. Like the amount of times they had no-look passes to one another was ridiculous.
They were so good. So good. You know, I obviously I dislike the Vancouver Canucks, but I appreciated those guys. They were so like Marcus Naslund was pretty much given away to the Vancouver Canucks if you look at that, right?
Wasn't it a tough guy, right?
Something with an S.
Yeah.
I don't even think he played a game, bro. Stojanovic or something around there. Someone will
figure that out.
Lindros Leclerc or Renberg.
The Legion of Doom, man.
Legion. That's trios, though.
That's trios.
That's for another Hernan's role.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
We'll end on this one. Martin says, I wonder if Knobloch can help me become a better communicator with my wife. Probably.
Yeah.
He's so calm and chill that you got to love what Coach K brings. But coming up next, back by popular demand. He was very nervous, Gager. YouTube Trev will join us here as we'll continue to tee up Oilers, Preds, 6 o'clock. Of course, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show gets going at 5. Tom Gazzola will be live from Hudson's. We'll have Cassie and myself and Mr. Reed Wilkins along for the ride. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. But up next, it's Zachticum with a sports update.
The Oilers are on the road to battle the Preds with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5 o'clock only on Edmonton Sports Talk. And you can catch Tommy at Hudson's, Canada's Pub down on White Ave, where he will be on location for both the pre and post game show. There's 10 other games on the slate, including the Devils battling the Sens, the Canucks facing the Panthers, as well as the Rangers in Detroit to play the Red Wings. Jake Ottinger has signed an 8-year, $66 million extension starting the season 3-0 with a .948 save percentage and a 1.63 goals against average. Clippers star Kawhi Leonard is suffering knee inflammation and will be out to start the NBA season. Leonard missed the entirety of the preseason and has no expected return date. The Saints host the Broncos in Thursday night football action, where Lieutenant Eric will be at the Century Casino Sports Barn Lounge for 6:15 kickoff. In baseball, it's Game 3 of the ALCS between the Yankees and the Guardians, with the Yankees leading 2-0. Later, the Mets meet the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLCS, with the Dodgers up 1 heading into tonight's game. YouTube Trev joins Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage here on EST Afternoons just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. Experience the EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielson Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
2:23. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Great tune.
Great tune.
Love that house. Okay,
Love it.
You a fan? Well, you played in Europe. You have to be.
I'm actually, because, we'll get to this day in sports history, but I'm actually just looking at, I'll save it.
Okay. 2:23, EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum. We're just ahead of YouTube Trev for his debut. He promised to bring the heat, and we bring him in now. YouTube Trev, you there?
I am here. Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear. A little too loud, I'd say, but
sorry.
You came in hot like Reed did a couple post-game shows. It blew our ears.
I like it.
No, it's all good. How you doing, man?
I'm great. It's a game day. I'm happy to be back. Thank you so much. It's such an honor. It really is a treat to be back. Hernan, absolutely love you. How's it going, Gager? I'm just joking, Gager. I love you too. This is awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Another L for hot takes this morning. I take it. White
did not. Okay. There's nothing I could have said on hot takes. Dusty brought it. Gager made the right call. Your Honor made the right call, I should say. He absolutely crushed it today. I thought long and hard, and then this morning I came in and I wasn't feeling it, so I can be better. I will be better, and next week I'm going for that mid.
Matt at the Garrisons, look at that hair. Yeah, he was crushing an afternoon nap just like Connor McDavid is right now out there in Nashville, right?
Yeah, So what it is, and you always saw Matty wearing the hat, but now that he's on the Hangout and he wasn't producing, the Nielson show, he doesn't wear the hat anymore. But I mean, when you get out of bed, like I could do my hair, I could get a shower, but it's like I'm getting up at 4:45. I've got no time for that, so I just put on the hat, and so I'm just coming out of the shower. This is kind of what the look when I'm at home usually.
That's all good. Hey, let's get to the game tonight. A big one there as the Preds are winless. They're going to be a feisty group. They've changed up their lines as well. Stamkos is with a couple of young guys there. But looking at Edmonton, and the big one is Calvin Pickard getting the start between the pipes. YouTube Trev. Do you like that decision? Because it's early on in the season. It's not a back-to-back. I'd say it's a pretty big game for the Oilers. You don't want to start 1-4, but they're going to their backup. What did you make of the decision to go to Calvin Pickard?
Well, as you guys know, the first time you brought me on, I had a fair bit to say about Stuart Skinner and whatnot. But I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised by this choice. Calvin Pickard. If you look at the numbers, I mean, they're not great on the season, especially like 750 save percentage he had against Chicago. I'm not going to lie, like his cross crease play did look pretty good. There were some one-timers that he read the play nicely, and I think that's one thing that he excels on. But I mean, you go with the guy that got you the win. And I like Stuart Skinner. Well, I should say I'm still beginning to learn and like Stuart Skinner, but I'm very surprised by this. And it is a big game. You just get your first win of the season. Why mix it up? I don't know if they looked at the record. Like maybe Calvin Pickard played better historically over the Nashville Predators. I don't really buy into that because they did just get the first win, and it was Stuart Skinner that got you that win. And he looked fine. Like he looked really good, especially in the second half of that game. He made some really good saves. So I'm blown away with this decision. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Pickard does. I have faith in him. I think the Oilers should be able to get the job done against the Predators, but I was surprised by this. I honestly think Skinner should have got the start.
He's never played against Nashville, Pickard.
Are you sure?
I'm checking right now.
I thought he had some not the best numbers. Anyway, Trev. So both teams, I think, we were kind of looking beginning of the summer. It was almost like an arms race to load up for the season with both teams. What intrigues you most about the Nashville Predators with their off-season moves, and what do you expect to see from a team that's, got a lot of experience and still looking for their first win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to no surprise. They made some huge off-season splashes. It's very surprising to see where they are because, I mean, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, like the guys that they added are not only impact players, like they know how to win. Like Steven Stamkos, he's won the Cup, not only winning the Cup, but he won the Conn Smythe. Same with Jonathan Marchessault. He won the Cup and he won the Conn Smythe. So they brought in winners. Philip Forsberg had a career year last year. Without a doubt, he was their most noticeable player all season long. He's just such a fun, exciting player to watch. So they're kind of like the Oilers. They've got some really good pieces, and I feel like they just need a little bit more time to get those pieces to mesh. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's a slow start, but this is a playoff team. I'd be very surprised. Like, they got better. This team got better. So they should be way, way better than what they're doing right now. And then, I mean, you look at every contender. This is what I go by. I like a star forward. I like a star defenseman, and I like a star goalie. And that's what the Nashville Predators have. And they've got a few star, forwards. And then you got Roman Josi, won the Norris a few years back, single-handed. Like, he almost had a 100-point season. I think it was 96 points. Like, just an absolute stud, without a doubt, the best Swiss player to ever lace him up. And then you got UC Saros, who hasn't really been that good. But the whole team hasn't really been that good. So they've got some really good pieces. They got some really good players. It's about finding that chemistry, and I'm certain that they're going to do it, but I'm surprised that it's taken them this long.
Just quickly, I gave false information. Calvin Pickard's 0-4 against Nashville in his career.
Yeah.
902 save percentage, 357 goals against average. So an interesting choice.
Last goal wins.
Last goal wins. YouTube, we're seeing the Oilers power play struggle. I think they're 1 for 9 on the season. What are you seeing from this power play? Because we know how good they've been. They've been historic the last 2 years, and it's the same 5 guys. Are you just seeing like these guys are just kind of not feeling it right now, overpassing it, not really getting a lot of shots? I know last game for a few of the power plays they were attempting more shots. They just kept getting blocked. But what are you seeing from this power play and the early struggles this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with a little bit of off-season rust, maybe. This is, historically speaking, the best power play ever, which is crazy. The one thing I've really noticed, it's just being maybe a little bit too predictable. Evan Bouchard's got just an absolute bomb, the Bouch bomb, as we all know. And you saw in the playoffs last year, he was getting so confident on the blue line, and he was so poised, and he'd do that fake slap shot, toe drag, and it would work almost every single time. He hasn't done that. When he's wound up to take that slap shot, the players are reading it very easily, and they're blocking it. And another thing I noticed last game, they're getting some shots, but they're all missing. Like I know you got to pick them corners, but man, like they were missing a lot of shots last game, and just I guess all season so far. And then the biggest thing I think as well is just the zone entries. One of the best things, or one of the, I think not a lot of people realize how important it is on a power play is your zone entry. And that's one thing, obviously, when you have Connor McDavid, you have Nathan McKinnon, you look at the best power plays in the league, it's the people that bring the puck in. And if you saw it, or if you've seen it this season, Evan Chard, when he goes to put the puck back to McDavid, he'll bobble it up, he'll give it up, that kind of thing. And it's kind of looking like, I don't know, you wouldn't think it would be that hard. You just pass it back to McDavid, but they haven't been able to do that effectively yet. Obviously, that's going to change. And then lastly, I think it's just the intensity. Last game was like the first time you saw them really just have that intensity that we have all known, or we've seen over the last few years, and it hasn't been there. Last game, or the one power play, they did have that intensity, and just don't be stagnant. I've noticed a few times that they're just passing. When the power play is really effective is when you got Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, to just doing circles, right? It gets the team just to start doing circles. They get puck watching, and then that's when they capitalize.
Trev, we know that we've seen some of your online presence throughout the games, just being entertaining for the millions of fans. Are we going to see any more of these kind of updates throughout the game through social media, just to get an insight of how many 6 o'clocker loggers that you've actually consumed throughout the game?
Yeah. You know what? You're so funny. Yes, there's going to be lots of these because last year I had a little bit more of a professional approach. Obviously, I learned from one of the best in the biz, and that's Tom Gazzola. It was so cool, and I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life, man. But one thing I really learned is just last year is just to settle it back. Don't let my emotions go high. And, part of that was because I was producing the shows and whatnot. But I mean, this year I'm going to be enjoying these games as a fan, and I'm going to be cheering quite a bit. And what you saw in the last game, I was ticked, man. And that's only like 10% of what I got. So I'm going to be doing this a lot more. I had a lot of fun with that. So expect a lot more videos and tweets of YouTube Trev during the season because I'm getting heated as well, just like the Latino Heat.
Yeah, it's going to be me and you next Friday, so you better be ready and bring the heat on the pre and post game show, as Tom Gazzola will be doing sidelines for the Elks final game. So it'll be fun. It will be fun. Before we let you go here, YouTube Trev, I got to let you know, Doug Dad says Trev led into hot takes calling The Dark Knight the worst superhero movie, the worst. I'll say this. I've never watched The Dark Knight, but Gager,
that's good. It'll save you 3 hours.
Do you agree with his take that it's a horrible movie?
That's what really put him, like his next 4 would have had to have been like the best takes ever after starting with The Dark Knight is one of the best. Even Robert Downey Jr. says when he came out with Iron Man, when the first Iron Man came out, and everyone, his friends, people in Hollywood told him, okay, this is okay until The Dark Knight comes out, and then it's done. So you're probably taking one of the greatest superhero movies of all time and saying it sucks. So, like, YouTube Trev is the first person I've never watched it, and people are blown away that I haven't, and I don't think I will. But YouTube Trev's the first person I ever hear call it bad. Have you even seen it?
like 8 times. Every time I watch it, I go in. I'm like, hey, forget about the last time. Like, open. It'll be okay. Just try and enjoy it. This will be the first time. And every time I'm just like, man, like I just don't get it. I don't know why people find it enjoyable. The only thing I like about it is Heath Ledger as the Joker. And I've been like, I know I'm in the minority in this. No one's ever agreed with me. And that's why I thought it would be a good hot take. And but there was some nasties today that did chime in and say, I agree with you, but a lot of them disagreed with me. And I don't want to call, well, you know what, Reed Wilson, Wilkins. He messaged me, yes, Wilkins, oh my gosh. He messaged me, he texted me, and he says he agrees with me. So,
but Reed also said last week that Top Gun's a horrible movie.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved in this conversation. Both of you are just, it's absolutely ridiculous. Maybe you didn't grow up with comic books. It was too many phone books. It would have been a little bit different, maybe.
This one's good. Where did it go? Bronco Nick. YTT looks like he woke up from a Donair nap. Donair today, YouTube Trev?
Yeah, no Donairs. Actually,
you gotta cut
there's
back,
been a few
man.
times where I've been driving by some Donair spots and my hands just start shaking, and I'm like, oh gosh, I can smell it.
Jeez.
But then I go away, and I'm very happy. I haven't had a Donair since I had 4 in the week. And I'm very happy with my progress.
YouTube Trev, you're an absolute beauty. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this afternoon. Enjoy the game tonight, my friend, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. Can I just tell a quick joke before I leave?
Yes.
This one's not as good as the last one, but whatever. What would Elon Musk name Reddit if he purchased it?
What?
Exit. Bye, guys.
Jesus.
I took him off the screen. You didn't even get to say bye.
Good job.
Easy,
Good job, Trev.
Easy says, blasphemy. Top Gun and Dark Knight are both great films.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I haven't seen Dark Knight, but...
You're not a very big comic book person.
No, like VR, Montenegro, and me are on the same wavelength. Hot take, all superhero movies are the worst ever. I have to agree. I like Deadpool.
Yeah, you make no sense.
But I've never seen Iron Man. I think I've seen one Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're missing out. That's all. But maybe you're not a sci-fi guy.
I do want to watch The Penguin because Dusty's raving about it.
Well, why? You're not going to like it.
No? What if I do? What if that turns Hernan into because you guys are all big Marvel or whatever you want to call it.
I as a kid, I remember just praying for the day I could the movies would be a good adaptation from the comic book. I remember the first X-Men was when it really kind of was like, oh my gosh, when they went to go see Wolverine in the pits fighting, I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is amazing.
Wow.
And then when the claws come out for the first time, it was awesome.
Zach, are you a big comic guy?
I'm not a big comic guy like whatsoever. I've watched, the Guardians of the Galaxy maybe in one of the Avengers movies, but I gotta say, like, I don't get the hype around all the superhero movies. They got such a big budget, but they don't hit me. They're not the kind of movies that I find that have a lot of soul. It's more just the action, like Michael Bay-ish kind of films. Some of them are really good, but I haven't watched a lot of them. I know Guardians of the Galaxy is great, but comics are too much for me. I'm almost illiterate, so.
Right.
Oh, that's
well, you're not reading it; you're watching it.
Touche. Well, they're talking comics today on the morning show, like Spider-Man.
Unless you have the subtitles on if you want, right?
No, I mean the thing you could do. I mean, obviously, if you don't like it, don't do it. But the Disney Plus, you can actually watch them in chronological order.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't understand how you don't do that. I mean, if I had the ability to mind wipe myself, and trust me, there's been a few Friday nights that I've tried, and to sit down, I would watch the whole thing. So I would be amazed at the beauty of the MCU cinematic universe.
Nice. And all the James Bonds with Craig are on Amazon.
Have you seen that?
No. So I saw them, but I didn't watch them yet.
So you just sit down and plow.
You got to give me the order.
Just look at the dates, dude. Come on.
All right, it's time. We're not even close to 100 thumbs up, but we're going to give out the keyword here. Keep hammering that thumbs up. Text 780-218-9999 for the EST Flyway to LA, presented by the 780. 780 is a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations: Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. And today's keyword is Intuit. Is that how you say Intuit Dome for the Clippers?
Yeah.
We need a qualifier. Text 780-218-9999, and I'll spell it for you. Spelling is important. Zachticum will pick our next qualifier for the EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780. That's coming up next, and we'll close out the show and tee you up for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Calvin Pickard gets a start for the Oilers when they face the 0-3 Preds out in Nashville. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 5 o'clock here on Edmonton Sports Talk with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, where Tom Gazzola will be live from Hudson's, Canada's Pub, down on White Ave. We got 10 other games, including the Devils taking on the Senators, the Rangers visiting the Red Wings, and the Kings meeting the Canadiens. And it was Jake Ottinger signing an 8-year, $66 million extension with the Dallas Stars, posing an average salary of $8.25 million. Rashid Shaheed's season is over for the Saints after undergoing knee surgery to repair his torn meniscus. Recovery time from the surgery is anywhere between 4 to 6 months. The Denver Broncos are in New Orleans tonight to play the Saints with Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for all the action. Kickoff is just after 6 o'clock. Kawhi Leonard is out for the LA Clippers to start the NBA season. The 33-year-old was not a part of any preseason games and will be sidelined indefinitely with knee inflammation. There's 2 games in the MLB Championship Series with the Mets battling the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLCS, with the Dodgers up 2-1, while the ALCS has the Yankees playing the Guardians in Game 3. New York can go up 3-0 if they get the win today. The final segment of EST Afternoons goes down right after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and that was your Sports Update.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
.45. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and Zachticum, as Zach's going to get our qualifier on the phone here shortly. For the EST Flyaway to LA, you'll watch the Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and the Edmonton hockey team either in Anaheim or LA. The trip is December 26th to December 30th. Flight for 2 to LA with hotel and rental car. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
That is quite the trip. The trip will be given away on November 29th on the morning show. So we got a ways to go here, Gage. A lot of qualifiers.
Lots of runway here. Yeah.
Lots of qualifiers. Quickly, let's get to this day in sports history.
I think it's my daughter's birthday.
November 29th?
No.
How do you not know?
It's around there.
Sagittarius.
Is it?
Yeah, because my sister's December 3rd, so I think
it's close. You got to, I don't know.
Yeah, because the cutoff's usually the early 20s, like 21st or 22nd of the month, and then it goes like that. So
yeah, it's true. Because I'm a Libra, so and I wanted to be a Scorpio.
Good luck. My sister's Sagittarius. Oof.
Yeah, rough,
tough. 1992, Yari Curry scored his 500th goal in an 8-6 win over the Bruins. He was with the Kings, though.
Oh,
yeah. And in 2000, Patrick Raw with the Avalanche achieved his 448th victory as a goalie in the NHL. Roy passed Terry Sawchuk to become the record holder for career victories.
It's crazy.
Were you a big Patrick Raw guy?
No.
No, you didn't like. You didn't like the persona.
Yeah, no, he was. I didn't like him. Great goalie, I'll give him that. But it's funny when we played against the Avalanche, and we'd put up the opposing list on the board. You circle names, whatever, stuff like that. Mac T would put this up for when we play a call. Mac T wrote God because that's how he thought of himself. So it was pretty funny. But he did back it up there for a while. But he was he was quite arrogant. But I think
it was pre-salary cap era, and that team was stacked.
I know.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from him.
He was a fantastic. You don't get he benefited from obviously good teams, but people look at him and Brodeur. I won't take anything away from their play because they did it when it mattered most, and they were difference makers throughout. I mean, he won the Conn Smythe twice, I believe. Pat, once for sure with Montreal. Maybe no. Sakic won the ones with, Forsberg didn't win one. But anyway, him and Brodeur. Sometimes it's a lot tougher playing in those games when you're only getting 10, 15 shots a game.
Like Brodeur did, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they played such a shutdown system,
and he would the chances that he would face, out of the 15, probably 5 or 6 were good, but he stopped them.
He stopped them exactly. Zach, we got our qualifier.
Yeah, Kyle is on the line.
Kyle, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good. This is actually my second time qualifying today.
Oh,
sweet.
Jeez, you're lucky day. Go buy a lotto ticket. Jeez. I guess you've been asked this already, so don't change your answer. But if you win this trip, who would you take with you?
First time I answered the girlfriend, so gotta stick with that.
It's been an okay date. No rocky waters this afternoon.
No.
NBA, NHL, NFL. Which kind of league would excite you the most to go to and watch?
Like I answered this morning, it'd be the NFL or the NHL game. But NFL, I've never been to a game, and I hear the atmosphere is unreal, so it'd be awesome to get to, and also to see the Oilers away from Rogers Place would be amazing.
Awesome, Kyle. Well, on November 29th on the morning show, you'll find out if you are the winner. If you are, you'll get a flight for 2 to LA with hotel and rental car from December 26th to the 30th. And of course, you'll watch Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and the Edmonton Hockey Club either in LA or Anaheim. All the best, my friend. And hopefully your name is called on November 29th.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. The Nasties are upset.
Ooh, Bones is a little upset there in the text line. We can't actually say that, but
in fairness to Zachticum, he wasn't working this morning, so he doesn't know. Yeah, right.
All good. Lots of time, like we said.
I wanted to get to. What was I going to ask you?
Well, if you can't remember,
you keep
today's events and sports history.
Yes.
So, 1860. The first British Open men's golf at Prestwick Golf and Country Club. I've actually been to this course.
Okay.
It's in Ayr in Scotland, and it's the birthplace of open golf, where you could qualify to open golf. It's a private course, but I was able to. I dominated the English League that year and won the Hart Trophy. So I was able to. I wasn't allowed to play, but I was able to walk the course. So me and a couple of my teammates just walked it, just to see, and it's amazing.
That's crazy.
Some of the bunkers are so deep. It's probably I'd say a good 20 feet down, and then you see this massive wall where if you go in there, you got to hit it back out the other way to go forward. It's It's that crazy link style, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous course. We couldn't golf at this one, but there was another one in town that we went to, and no word of a lie, like the clubhouse was a castle. Like we would go there and play, and we would go and have beers afterwards, and basically sit in like King Arthur's round table room. It was, and all these like axes and stuff and knights. It was great, and that course had. If you're fans of Braveheart, maybe you guys will like that show. I don't know. It's a movie. But
I love Braveheart.
Okay, so Robert the Bruce, he had homes all over. He's the guy at the end or whatever.
Yeah. That betrays him.
One of his castles is there. Just the foundation, the blocks, but it's on like hole 9 of the course that we used to play. Pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. I saw that on This Day in Sports History as well, but I didn't have the backstory to back it up.
No,
so.
it's just cool that I've been there, and I've walked that course. It would blow your mind. Like, do you golf a lot?
No.
Okay.
I think I've golfed once in my life, and I'm terrible at it.
Okay, well, forget it.
I don't like the pressure either. The tryhards are always pressuring you, and it's hard on your back. Man, I sound like an old guy. Eh?
Jesus.
How much do you golf?
Not much.
Oh, okay.
I do the tournaments and stuff, right? And just the best ball. That's fine. Did you read the Paul Coffey one too? Today? 1991?
No.
Pittsburgh Penguin. Paul Coffey sets NHL defenseman scoring record with 1,053 career points, 309 goals, and 744 assists. So.
Damn, he was good.
Suit him up.
Suit him up. Gager, what was your prediction for the Oilers game again today?
4-2.
Nashville. I said 6-1 Nashville. Let us know here. We got about 3 minutes to go. Let us know on the Nazi chat or text 780-218-9999. I know you're all fired up about the EST flyaway, but you'll have another chance on the Reed Wilkins show and on all the shows coming up tomorrow.
All the shows.
So don't worry. We'll get you in there.
And how nice is it to have an early Oilers game?
Oh, it's great.
Oh, my God.
8:20 start on Tuesday, Gager?
I'm just now starting to feel normal after that.
I got home at like 1 a.m.
Dude, speaking of old, like I see the clock hit 9. And I'm going, oh, boy, this is great. I get to go to bed soon.
Yeah. On this day 10 years ago, Taylor Hall scored 2 goals in 8 seconds. That's from YouTube Trev.
Really?
Where did he find that?
I don't know. I think he's making that up.
Yeah. Give us the team, YouTube Trev. Easy says 7-2 Preds. VR Montenegro says 5-3 Oilers. I'm just looking at the plus-minus for the Oilers right now, Gager. Zach Hyman, -3. Ty Emberson, -4. Nugent Hawkins, -4. Connor McDavid, -3. That's not good because he has 4 points.
No. And it's not like,
and they have one power play.
Power play. It's not good. And there has to be a conscious effort to play on the defensive side of the puck, man. You can't be like even.
But we
noticed. I noticed a few times last game that the forwards were really quick to
take off
out of the zone, right? And then you're looking at defensemen trying to make 20, 30-foot passes. And against a good defensive structured team like the Flyers, it's hard to do. And then if you get up against a real team that, a little bit more experienced, that like the Stars, their counterattack is awesome.
Yeah.
So they're looking to make for you to make those types of mistakes and reattack and in outnumbered situations. So have to have a little bit more support coming up the ice.
Yeah. And remember, sprinkle a little bit on Stamkos getting a goal tonight. That's almost too easy to predict. Mike from Calgary, your guys' scoring predictions are depressing. He says 7-3 Oil. Andrea says 6-3 for the Oilers. Buckaroo says 5-1 Oilers. Leon 4 points. Rusty Shackelford 4-3 with a callback goal from Edmonton and a power play goal. Duck Dad 2-1 Oilers. Buckaroo also says 5 p.m. start here on the coast. My kids get to see the whole game. They're excited. Awesome. Alvi _quadruple 0 is it's a 4-1 Oiler win tonight, boys. Easy 7-2 Preds. X-Ray J 5-2 Nashville. 2 empty netters and 2 Edmonton goals called back. I'll leave it at that. And then YouTube Trev says 11 years. My bad. And the New York Islanders. All right. Good stuff. All right, coming up next, it's the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. They'll be on from 3 to 5, and then at 5, it's the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian, myself, and Reed's going to join for a bit as well. And then following the game and all the action from Nashville, it will be the post-game show with Tommy, myself, and Matty Cassian. Tomorrow, probably do some F1, Gager?
Yeah, I think, well, it'll be, because
sprint, right?
We'll have... During our show, we'll have practice, I believe, and then the sprint right after. I'm just trying to see what your is. Stamkos to score plus 185. So
that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Reed Wilkins Show coming up next with Jay Milne. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll chat tomorrow. For Joaquin Gage and Zachticum, I'm Hernan Salas. This has been EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Have a good rest of your day. Ciao.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.